So I mentioned earlier about the Trident logo. Switching over to kind of an older logo that you had on a guitar pick at one point. Who's playing with the wolf's teeth? This video is brought to you by Dog.com. We'll hear more about them later. For now, let's get on to today's video. Welcome to Room 6, the channel dedicated to local and not so local music and the people that make it. I'm Josh, and my guests today are a 5-piece rock band from Pittsburgh that was formed in 2021. Their latest release, Dying Day, is out now, and look for a review of it coming soon on the channel. Make sure you subscribe and ring the bell. Please welcome to the channel, 3 Leagues to Rome. Hi, guys.
How you doing?
How's it going?
Hey. So first off, welcome to the channel. Raise them if you got them. Lovely Room 6 whiskey. Speaking of Room 6 whiskey and this lovely shirt that I'm wearing, I make music. What's your superpower? You want some, want to support the channel? Hit up room6.shop. That's my merch store. I've got all sorts of sayings and things. You can get it on mugs and posters and t-shirts and hats, blah, blah, blah. But more importantly, if you want to be featured on the channel, whether reviewed, interviewed, or both, then hit me up using my email address or click the Room 6 social media link down below. You'll find ways to support the channel. You'll find where I am online and what I'm up to. And while you're down there, feel free to like, share, and subscribe and all that YouTube crap. Cool. Moving on. If you don't know who 3 Leagues to Rome is, thank you for watching. Go ahead and introduce yourselves and tell them who you are and what you do in the band.
I'm Steve Muchler. I'm singer and backup guitar.
Dan Stead, bassist.
Dave Boggs, lead guitar and keyboard.
Brian Muchler, professional drinker and drummer.
Paul Baker, guitar player.
Right on. Professional drinker, you got a hat for that or something?
No, just a lot of headaches.
So you're not 21 anymore is what you're saying?
No, I just keep getting better at that. When I was 21,
Yes.
I really didn't drink that much. I just keep getting better with age, just like wine.
Honestly, same. I didn't start drinking until I met my ex-wife. Well, that's a whole other. But no, I think I was 25 when I actually kind of started drinking, and now aside from other things, I also review whiskeys on the channel sometimes, so that'll be coming. Santa was good to me, but I've been sick like everybody else, so whiskey was not seemed like it's this is I think the first whiskey I've had in over a month. So first question, why 3 Leagues to Rome? What is the fascinating? Now I know the whole TikTok trend about every man is thinking about the Roman Empire, but this predates that. So why 3 Leagues to Rome?
That's your yeah.
Well, so Brian, the professional drinker, and his brother Steve, and I, we've known each other basically our entire lives.
Yeah.
So
40
plus years. Yeah. So we had a band a long time ago, and that took some time off, family, whatever. We decided to get back together. I think it was around 2020-ish.
Yeah, about there.
And so, putting some songs together, looking to do a show, and we're like, well, we need a name. So, we threw out, I think.
Oh, God, we had a bunch of them. And coming up with a band name is not fun nor easy.
So, my wife was like, well, you should try to keep it something related towards us 3. And being that we're Italian, I just happened to be looking through a Nostradamus book. And he predicted that Pope John Paul I would be killed 3 leagues from Rome. So we just said, well, how about 3 Leagues to Rome? And that's how we got the name.
Of all the stories, of all the origins that you could have told me, I would have believed any of them. That I had no clue that it was going to go there. But we just got a new pope, right?
We did?
Yeah, Pope John Paul III, I believe. Or Pope Peter. So, yeah. I just found out today. It's like, I don't really care. I grew up.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Well, we've been
I didn't
jamming
know.
for
Wow.
a couple hours, so we have no idea what's been going on in the world.
And he can't do any worse than the last one just did, so that's good. I'm sorry
Well,
I say that out loud. Shit.
I'm just saying maybe you can work out some sort of, you know, some sort of sponsorship or whatever.
Yeah.
Separation of metal and state. Anyway, so from there, I want to ask, what was the genesis of the Trident logo? Because the Trident is a little bit more Greek, you know, Poseidon and all that. But I was just wondering, where did the Trident logo come from? Is that going with the number 3?
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
Yeah, I think we had a couple different logos.
It took a while for us to settle on that one, and we came up with that. And Paul had suggested turning it on its side. I'm like, that's not going to work. And I did it, and I'm like, ooh, there's the 3, and it kind of just, you know,
Yeah, Steve's a
from
graphic
there.
designer by trade, so.
Yeah, no, I also do some graphic design on the side, mostly for Room 6, but occasionally for other people. And I was like, hey, I see what you're doing there. But I don't know if but the Trident isn't really Roman. So I was just like,
That was more of a gladiator type
Suggestive.
thing. Yeah, exactly.
yeah, the over 50-year-old in me, I'm 51, the old over 51 started thinking, wait a minute, that's not historically accurate. All right, cool. So from there, I'm gonna throw in a few of my usual interview questions, and if you're an OG Room 6er, you're gonna, you know, you'll recognize these. If you have any new questions I should be asking people, throw them in the comments. What the hell? Because you can only ask so many questions, and sometimes I have people come back on the channel, and I'm like, what am I going to ask? I've asked all the questions. So here it is. Let's pretend we're talking. No, I'm sorry. I jumped to the end. I want to talk about your earliest musical influence, and when I say that, I mean, what is that moment that you each remember saying, I want to do that?
My mother played piano. She was very good. And some of my earliest memories are sitting beside her while she couldn't sing, but she could play, belting out Elton John songs. And that's when I knew I wanted to play, and I love music.
I don't know. Along the same lines, my mom has always been real into music, always screaming, not screaming, but, you know, singing her head off best she can. She's got a voice on her. She's like a, you know, a Caucasian version of Tina Turner almost, you know. And she just always got into it, always blasting music and stuff like that, always, you know, upbeat kind of stuff, whatever. And, you know, I don't know what particularly got me into it. I do know when I was maybe 3, I always wanted to say I want to play the guitar. And here I am playing the bass guitar. So maybe that's when it came over to be. I don't know. But there you go.
I was probably about 5 or 6. There's a movie out back then called School of Rock with Jack Black. You may have heard of it. But that movie inspired me greatly to learn how to play many different instruments. And, you know, Jack Black's awesome. So
He was
That's
5 or 6.
I'm gonna have to say the Monkees. Watching that show when I was a little kid and seeing Mickey Dolenz, I was like, I want to be a drummer, even though he didn't know how to play drums at that time when I watched it. I've learned that later in life, but he made it look so damn cool. And 80s videos, David Lee Roth, Motley Crue, and they made it look really cool. So I definitely figured I wanted to be a drummer, and yeah.
For me, it was the Beatles. You know, my dad listened to the Beatles nonstop, and you know, I'm a Lennon fan, so it's how I wanted to get into it.
Right on, nice and succinct. So it's always interesting when I ask that question, because no matter what the genre represented, invariably I hear something that's completely not what you are playing right now or making right now. It's always something like, you know, oh, you're a death metal band and you grew up loving the Beatles. Okay, cool. Or, you know, you are a world beat musician, but you grew up listening to Green Day. It's always interesting to me. So I mentioned earlier about the Trident logo. Switching over to kind of an older logo that you had on a guitar pick at one point. Who's playing with the wolf's teeth?
Well, we had an interim. I mean,
Yeah.
we had a friend of ours before Dan came in to play bass. A friend of ours was playing bass for a couple shows, and our first EP that we put out. And who was it? Your sister that made the logo?
My wife and her sister made the logo. Yeah.
So Justin, our former bass player, he's the one grabbing from underneath.
And he would definitely be the one to be
exactly.
underneath
Exactly.
doing that.
I was just like, okay, if one of these is Romulus and one of these is Romulus, there's 3 more to pick from, and one of them's a drummer, obviously. He's got the sticks. So I thought it was clever. But I had to ask, like, who's playing, hanging on? Like, come on, Mom. All right. So from there, now you've been a band since 2021, right? Three Leagues to Rome has been in existence since 2021. But is this current lineup since then, or no? You've added some people, right?
Yeah, Dan.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I mean, when we first started, we
found Dave by accident.
Yeah, we got Dave through a mutual friend of ours. His cousin.
He actually played bass. Our first show that we had played in 20 plus years, Dave played bass for us. And after that show, it didn't go very well. It had been a long time. After that, we kind of decided, like, hell, he's a hell of a guitar player. Why am I doing this? We need him playing guitar. So we asked Dave to join us as our guitar player.
There you go. So the reason I asked that is that even with the new edition, there's been some shows under your belt, right, with this current lineup.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
Which leads me to my next question. What is your favorite show memory playing as 3 Leagues to Rome? It's an individual question for each of you. And I mean, it could be where things went way off the rails. You checked off some rock star wish list things. Somebody went to jail. Whatever. If you're at, you're at a party and someone says, "What are you doing?" You say, "I'm in a band." And this one time, what's your favorite show memory?
So far, it was just funny because it happened, getting whacked with a stick from behind by the drummer. We're on our last song. Everything's going awesome, and all of a sudden I got a stick coming out behind me. I turn around, he's 1 stick down.
It never fails. When a stick flies out of my hand, it always has to hit either Paul or Steve almost every time. Usually it's Paul, so it was weird that it Steve that time.
It's nothing specific. I just love when the 5 of us are up. It's fun. We're up there in our own little bubble, and
Well, my strap fell off that one show, Club Cafe.
Yes.
That was fun.
That was good.
Almost dropped the guitar. And then I got locking straps after that. So
Funny how that works. We all have that fear of is it going to fall now at the worst possible time? Yeah, I got locking straps, but then unfortunately I lost that guitar, and none of these have locking straps because they almost never leave the wall. I'm sad to say. Anybody else?
One of my favorite gigs we played was probably at the church down in
Charleroi.
Yeah, Charleroi.
That was a good one.
I like the atmosphere. It was very nice, very pleasant.
Okay, not very rock and roll, man. Right on. That story about the stick hitting you is totally. I was the front man for many years, and it totally happens. And not to make this about me, but here in the Las Vegas area, we got all the major news channels, of course, and there's one that's on Channel 5. It's Fox 5, and they have this section called More, where they'll showcase like local musicians and events that are coming up. And my band was going to be headlining I'm going to put this in air quotes, a music festival, and it was like 50 people, but we somehow got to perform on the news, which was cool and all. We did a song, and it was my music, and we're playing one song, okay, one take, one song, and halfway through, a drumstick hits me in the back of the freaking cab. And I knew exactly what happened, and I just was like, okay, just keep going, do the song. And as soon as they said, okay, you're done, I turned around the drummer. I'm like, one song, Really? Buy some damn Gorilla Tape, dude. Or Gorilla
And it
Snot.
always starts to make you wonder what's going on behind you when you're not looking.
Right. Now, having said that,
Magic.
when I'm pretending to be a drummer over there, I make it maybe 2 songs and a stick is I'm hitting something and the stick's flying. So I get it. But at the same time, it was like 1 song, 1 take, and it had to hit me. So moving on. Actually, before we move on, we're gonna take a quick little break here, quick little booze break, and also gonna hear a little message from future Josh. So booze break.
And now, a word from our sponsors.
Thanks, Josh from the past. Today's sponsor spot has a special guest. Meet Chloe. She's a bit of a diva, but we tolerate her, and she tolerates us. But taking care of this little monster can get expensive, which is where Dog.com comes in. Dog.com is your online dog supplies shopping and information destination. Founded in 1969 as the parent company to a wide variety of pet-related websites, Dog.com provides a broad range of competitively priced pet supplies, as well as community forums and partnerships with several national and local rescue and adoption facilities. Just for watching this video today, and for a limited time, you can use my affiliate link down in the description to get 10% off your entire order. Plus, you'll be helping out the channel. Say bye! Thanks to Dog.com for being a sponsor, and let's get back to the show. She's never this quiet. We're back, and if that sponsor spot interested you at all, please consider clicking the link down below. You'll save some money. I'll get some money. It's a win-win, baby. Before we move on, stick around because we're going to be seeing a lyric video for their latest track, Dying Day, which I will be reviewing on the channel in about 4 or 5 days here. And stick around for that, and then we'll have a fun outro. I wanted to ask, can we talk about the instrument rescue benefit?
Instrument rescue benefit.
Let's hear
Didn't
about it.
you did a benefit for like instrument rescue?
Yeah. That was they asked for songs, so they were putting a CD together for I forget the name, but yeah, there's an organization in Pittsburgh that donates used equipment to folks who can't afford it or whatever it might be. So they asked for some submissions for music, and yeah, we got put on that record.
Excellent. I was just wondering how involved you were with it.
That was probably a long time ago.
If it's out there, I'll find it. So, Sean Evans from Hot Ones is my Patronus. Get that deep dive. So, we have a 6th member?
No.
He's a Mexican. We keep tied up in the other room.
Wow. You can't say that.
He's a Chihuahua.
I know.
He's from Mexico. That's not racist. That's where he's from. Don't offend him.
I'm just joshing.
I know.
I'm allowed 1 a day, and I wasted it on that. All right. So, a couple more questions, and then we'll get to that music video. Number 1, any plans to tour on the West Coast at all?
That'd be awesome.
We would love to, but money and time would be an issue getting up.
Any financial sponsors?
Yeah, I get it. It's just most of my audience is West Coast, so I like to ask that question for these virtual things. So from there, we talked about earliest musical influence. We talked about your favorite show memory. Is there a dream gig that you would love to play on that is just like someday, man?
I would be happy opening up for a big band. That would be to get to that point, to get the call to open up for a major act. That would be it for me.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
Alice in Chains, Blind Melon.
To play with giant crowd.
Right on. Let's put it out in the universe there. That's why I asked the question. I thought Blind Melon wasn't a thing anymore.
Oh, they're not really anymore.
Yeah.
Well,
I think they toured last year.
They get back together occasionally, and they'll do a few shows. But it's not.
I just thought it was funny you mentioned 2 bands whose lead singer died. So
yes,
there's some Stone Temple Pilots in there. Why not? And yet they're touring. Stone Temple Pilots and Alice in Chains. They're touring. There's a show coming up. So, All right.
The new singer for Alice in Chains isn't that bad. It's pretty good.
Travis something. Yeah, he's really good.
Yeah,
No,
I was
good
really
as Canada,
surprised.
Yeah, there's only one lane, but he does an alright job.
Yeah, and our producer worked with them, so that would be
Kind of, yeah.
Right on. So, walk me through the songwriting process. Is there a standard, like, so-and-so kind of writes, you know, the kernel and then gives it to everybody else, or is one person mostly writing the music, or what's your usual songwriting process?
It's usually kind of different. It depends. They're all a little bit different. There have been a couple that most of them are a collaboration. There might be like one or two, or one of us will come in and say, okay, here we have this. But at that point, it never becomes a here, you play this, here, you play this. Basically, it starts as a skeleton and everybody puts their touch on it.
it's just a jam.
Yeah. Do you remember the origin of Dying Day? How that all started?
Yeah.
I mean,
remember
if we could tell that, that's sort of a little extreme, but it's spontaneous.
We were done jamming.
We were done.
And I got out from behind the drums, and Steve started playing just that beginning riff. And I was like,
Dave
you
left
just
the
come up
room.
with that. And then he's like, yeah. And then
whatever.
I went back behind the drums, and we pretty much wrote it almost right there.
I think Paul, you just put your guitar down, and I just shut my amp off, and Steve started playing. And we just Paul and I looked at each other, and I turned my amp back on, started playing something. Paul picked up his guitar. We just started a little thing, and Brian jumped in. About a minute later, Dave came running back in the room, and we just kind of started. And obviously, it's manifested a little bit since then, a few minor changes and stuff like that. But the basis of the song was extremely spontaneous.
There you go. Awesome. It's always interesting to me. Again, like every act seems like they have a slightly different songwriting process. Personally, I wrote for myself most of the time until I was the front man for a band. And even then I say, here's my part. Figure it out. You do whatever you want with it, because I'm not a bassist and I'm not a drummer and I'm not you. So I was just curious. Some bands, it is the, it is the so-and-so band, regardless of the name. Like Foo Fighters is the Dave Grohl band. Let's be honest.
See, ever since I was little and envisioned being in a band, in my head, it was always a group thing, and when we became a band, when we was in a band, I've played with people who they try to pull that where it's theirs. It doesn't become the band's song unless everybody's got their own touch on it.
Yeah, I mean, there might be something that you're hearing, if you've come up with something and, I'm hearing this, fine. But, everybody puts their own spin and touches on everything.
Agreed.
Lyrically, though, I think you and I are probably writing most of the lyrics.
Yeah.
Agreed. When I was frontman, I have 2 albums, and when we were doing my music only, it was the Joshua Courtwright band, because that's what they told me. It's like, oh, that's fine, man. Let's go with your name. But as soon as we started writing music together, I was like, we have to come up with a name. And that moment when there's that pregnant pause right before you're about to step on your distortion pedal, or the beat's about to drop?
Yes.
That I called the band The Suspense because of that moment.
Totally get that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I've always been proud of it. We were like indie rock, so it kind of fit. I've always been proud of that name, but the best name I ever came up with, I was a frontman for a cover band. We played 4-hour shows, started at 7 people, ended up at 4 people, went through 7 drummers and ended up back at number 2, and went through 4 keyboardists and ended up with none. The bass player was like, who's playing bass this time? And that band was called Revolving Door. Best name I ever came up with.
Well, our first band was called Urban Stone, and that name came by me pushing a cart at a store I worked in.
Clothing store.
Yeah, clothing store. And there was 2 pairs of jeans, Urban Wash and Stone Wash or something like that. And I was like, hey, how about Urban Stone? That's how we got it.
I like it. It sounds my mind says country rock when I hear Urban Stone.
Yeah.
There was no country in it.
No.
Surprisingly.
No. Hearing what you do, but all right, cool. Last question. You made it. Yay. After this, we're going to see the lyric video for Dying Day, so stick around for that. We're going to circle back to that earliest influence question, okay? This is that question I tried to jump to early on. So let's pretend we're talking to little you, Okay. And really, this question is you talking to new musicians. Someone who comes up and says, how do I be like you? So not that anybody would, but yeah. So you have a time machine. You can go back and talk to your little self. Okay. What is one thing that you wish you could go back and say, you're going to need to know about this? And don't say change your strengths.
No, I would say don't be a music snob. When I was in first grade, my very first tape was Styx, Mr. Roboto, which I
remember that.
Very rarely ever admit. Exactly. There was a lot of things that I hated at that time. You're in grade school, you like popular music. Don't close yourself off. Listen to everything right off the bat. Don't wait until you're in your 20s and you go, oh, wait, that's pretty cool. Do the stuff right off the bat. Listen to everything.
My piece of advice, I guess, would be whatever avenue you want to take. If you want to get lessons, become extremely skillful, get all the knowledge you want, no matter what, play from the heart. You have to have a passion. That's what it's all about. Don't just listen to music, feel the music. You know what I mean? It's just encompasses you. It's your outlet, your release. It's your emotion all wrapped up into, it could be one note, whatever it is. Just get the passion in music.
Circle.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree with my brother. Like we did that to each other a lot. Like he'd like a band and I didn't like him, so I'd make fun of him for it, and then he'd make fun of me for liking another band.
Yeah, I purposely held off liking Tool and Bad Religion just because he was a little skate rat running around, and I didn't.
Yeah, and I hated Phil Collins, and yeah, so we go back and forth our whole lives doing that. And Paul too, the same thing. Yeah, we just rip on each other for liking different stuff. And we shouldn't have did that. We should have embraced that stuff and learned why do you like it, and that. And don't settle down with a woman real quick if you're doing really good with your band, because that will ruin it. I would have said that to my young self. Yeah. You'll find more. You're only 16. Calm down.
He's speaking to the past, Brian.
Find a number. Yeah, that was the old honey. It was the old Brian.
No, I think I would agree. Yeah, we definitely beat ourselves up.
Yeah, over dumb shit.
Yeah, I was Nirvana. These guys were Chains. I mean, but we all we both liked them, but it was more like
he'd rip on me for liking Elvis, and I'd rip on him for liking the Beatles. The Beatles suck.
Yeah.
They're dumb. And
then
Elvis is stupid.
And both of us saw Michael Jackson in concert. So I mean,
first concert. That was the best concert. One of the best ones I ever saw was Michael Jackson. Yeah, it was our first concert, and his mom took me and him when I was in 4th grade. Yeah.
Right on. Did we get everybody?
One more.
Well, Dave's done. So Dave's talking to himself now.
I would say I would tell myself to commit more to learning more about music and music theory and the more technical aspect of things, because that's something that I wish I knew more of, and it's harder to learn as the older you get. So
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, tell me about it. I couldn't say it any better though. All good things. Those are all good pieces of advice. So yeah, thank you very much for watching. Thank you guys for being on the channel. Stick around. We're going to see that lyric video for Dying Day, and then we'll catch you in the outro. In the meantime, temporarily say goodbye, guys.
Goodbye.
Yeah. Nice, man.
Cheers.
See you in a minute.
Where'd all the people go? But I
I want to thank 3 Leagues to Rome for coming on the channel. It was a great interview and an awesome music video. If you want to know more about them, hit the links down there in the description. And if you want to know more about what I'm doing, hit that social media link. Other than that, if you want to see more videos like this, please click up here. If you want to subscribe, click over there, and don't forget to ring the bell. And if you want to hear my own music, click over there. Remember to be amazing, and we'll see you next time on Room 6. Say goodbye, guys.
See you, Josh.
Peace. Thanks, Josh.
Ba-da-ba-ba-da-bum.